Look, everybody, it is showtime, and welcome to an all-new Downright Sports. I'm your host, Brent Reid, the sports critic in the world today. And if you've never seen this show before, it is a show from a fan's perspective, the most underground YouTube, ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever show out there. So just know, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan, you love sports, you have an opinion, leave a comment, and I'm with you because that's what we have. But it's a new week, new year. Haven't done a show in a while, so we kick today off with the first segment, the NFL Touchback. And what's going on right now is Superman is on the IR. The Carolina Panthers have told Cam Newton they're going to put him on the IR because of his nagging foot. When the truth of the matter is they got a running back that's got MVP written all over his back and a quarterback that's not losing games. So as right now, all the rumors are swirling. Is Cam going? Is he going? That's next week's show where I tackle, is it right that Cam Newton should be on the trade talk at all? Moving on, former Super Bowl winning quarterback Nick Foles is going to be back for Jacksonville this week. He went out the first week. He's back. He's dislocated his shoulder. Looks like he's going to play this week. The Chargers owner had a yellow tape moment, kids, that he was asked with the potential about the Los Angeles Chargers moving to England, and he basically went on a tirade saying they're not doing it and called it BS. No surprise here, should anybody listen to him, because he also said he was going to keep the team in San Diego, but instead he moved them to LA, where they play in front of 20,000 fans that don't root for them. How about that? And in this week's game of the week, you're looking at the Carolina Panthers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Carolina last week won, came back after losing the following week to the 49ers. Green Bay lost last week. Green Bay currently has a lead in that NFC North over Minnesota, Chicago, and the Lions. Carolina is in second place behind the Saints. If the playoffs started today, Carolina will be out, Green Bay will be in. That game gives Green Bay minus 5 points, giving them basically the favorite to win that game, and that's this week's Downright Sports Game of the Week. When we come back, we ask the new question: who's LeBron's best sidekick to date?
Stadium, let's watch Downright Sports!
Down recently, like every other question every year in the NBA season. LeBron. But this year made me think. I had a conversation with somebody I'm not going to mention, Orlando, but he basically had this to say: who's LeBron's best teammate? Who's LeBron's best sidekick? For LeBron being Batman, who is his Robin? And if you know anything about Batman, he had a lot of Robins. Today, LeBron's new teammate is Anthony Davis. So the question is, who's LeBron's greatest sidekick of all time as of today? Well, I went back and I did some research. So we're going to break it down in 3 parts. LeBron the early days, LeBron Miami, LeBron returned to Cleveland, and then today. In the early days, LeBron James had Ricky Davis, Larry Hughes, Mo Williams, Zeke, I think they used to call him. And that's when LeBron first came into the league. And each of those guys basically averaged around 15 points a game. We're not going to count the early days. We're going to count the winning days, shall we? Because the real conversation comes down to who's LeBron's best sidekick between Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. So, if you look at the Miami years, when him and D-Wade played together, D-Wade hurt most of the time, still averaged around 20 points a game, but when you only play 5 games, it's not really that hard for your average to drop. He also had Chris Bosh on that team, but Chris Bosh wasn't really a sidekick as much as he was like Alfred. So if you kind of look at it, D-Wade is more or less the number 2 guy, which made LeBron carry most of the load, which they got 2 championships out of the 4 years they played together. If you look at Kyrie averaged around the same thing D-Wade did. Now, Kyrie helped LeBron win a championship, hitting the game-winning jump shot, but he only helped them win 1 out of 3 years. Most of the time, it was always the guy dominating the ball too much. Then you also ask, well, what about Kevin Love? Again, they upgraded and they recasted and went from Alfred number 1 and Chris Bosh to now Alfred number 2 and Kevin Love. Now look at LA. When you have a guy like Anthony Davis, who basically is a different kind of player and a different kind of cat LeBron's ever played with before. LeBron's ever played with a guy that doesn't need the ball but can still give you 40 points a game. LeBron is and everybody compares him to Michael, but he's more like Magic. Because LeBron loves facilitating. He loves giving that ball. He loves cutting down the court and finding that guy coming off the screen or shooting down the lane on a fast break. He loves that because it gets LeBron down in the stretch. It allows him to free up and do what he wants, and it actually allows LeBron to save a lot of energy. So, I know what some of you are thinking. You're going to pick Anthony Davis? He only played one. He ain't even played a full season with him. Well, this is true. But in this little bit of time that LeBron has played with Anthony Davis, he's the first teammate LeBron's ever had where they average the same amount of points. So far this season, LeBron has averaged 26 points a game, and so is Anthony Davis. In no years has LeBron played with D-Wade, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, or any of the other cast of characters where a teammate averaged the same amount of points. In fact, that could be something to look out for. Now, I know in LA, and they got a bunch of teams out there, and this year the season is very tight and thick. But if Anthony Davis can stay healthy and the Lakers bench can continue playing as well as they have, you're going to see LeBron James in the playoffs fully rested. Not because he's taking those rest days, but because he didn't have to exert so much energy to help the team win, because he finally has found his true Robin. He's finally found his War Machine. He's finally found his Wasp. These are all comic book references if you guys haven't caught on to them yet. But I'm going to go on a limb and just say Anthony, it's not a hard thing. Anthony Davis is the best teammate LeBron has had. It's not D-Wade. It's not Kyrie Irving, because both guys needed the ball in order to score. There was a lot of isolation going on, and where in Anthony Davis, he could go on a block, LeBron could give it to him, boom, 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 or he could pass it back out, LeBron could cut, drop it, throw alley-oops, or come off the screen. Whatever the case, this is how, and to be fair with you, this is the best way the game of basketball has always been played. You got your top, your high, you got your facilitator who's normally up top, and then down low you always got a big man that can score. It's the best combination. Shaq and Kobe, Magic and Kareem, Starks and Ewing. That was a bad example. But in any case, that's what I'm gonna go with. Anthony Davis is the best sidekick in my opinion. If you got something to say about it, leave a comment. I don't care. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to come back and close the show with two segments. MLB Clubhouse, the off-season edition, and a new segment known as the NCAA Study Hall. Get your books and pens, kids. All right, even though the MLB season is over, Clubhouse is still here. It's just the off-season edition. And we're going to start with the Yankees are telling Didi no to a qualifying offer. Didi Gregorius has been the Yankee shortstop since Derek Jeter retired 5 years ago. Why do I know that? Because Derek's up for the Hall of Fame, and this is his 5th year. Didi has been solid. He's been a decent defensive player, and his bat has spoken volumes. But the Yankees, who knows what direction this Brian Cash wants to go in, very passionate about them. Let me move on. Then we move to the Red Sox, and I love this. They were looking to cut some costs this year, but J.D. Martinez said kick rocks, and he opted into his contract, which is going to give him 3 more years in Boston, and they got to pay off. So now the Boston Red Sox are maybe going to get rid of their MVP and Mookie Betts. Dumb move. How about you try to get rid of a guy like David Price? And then finally, the Mets have their new skipper, and Carlos Beltran, who's never managed a team, who's never sat at the bench. And this is a recurring trend in baseball because really the general manager thinks he's the guy that's running the team because his analytics tells him how to put together a team. Here to tell you, you better find you a good manager, because Mets, you can't afford to just keep paying managers over and over again. Moving on to the new segment, the NCAA Study Hall. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can't pick good names. But in any case, the playoffs have begun. The playoff rankings have started last night, and to some people's surprise, it left out a lot. Now, I put together my own, which I'll tell you in a second, but here is as such. Ohio State at number 1, LSU at number 2, Bama at number 3, Penn State at number 4. I don't really disagree with it too much, except I think I would probably have put LSU over Ohio State, and I probably would put Penn State over Bama. So, in my rank, and I would have left Bama out. My rankings with LSU, Penn State, Clemson, and Ohio State. I know everybody feels like we can't leave Alabama out. I'm gonna leave Alabama out. It's gonna be the end of the world. Listen, Bama's played 0 teams. Clemson at least has had some competition. And it just shows you that Bama's played 0 teams. They lost their quarterback and they're still stomping people. So enough is enough with this Bama and the SEC schedule. This week, Bama plays out LSU. And if LSU beats Bama, they're done. I don't want to hear the argument. In fact, I think it's disgusting that Georgia is 6th and has the opportunity to make the playoffs. There are 2 undefeated teams in big conferences, though. You got Baylor and you have Minnesota. And I think those teams should be ranked a lot higher than teams that have 2 losses. This playoff thing is stupid. Yes, strength of schedule should matter, but wins and losses should matter because you basically tell teams who go out and beat the teams in front of them, it don't matter what you do because this team here plays in the same conference as some other team that they'll never face. It's a lot of hubbub, all right? Anyway, thank you all for watching. It's been fun. Subscribe at the bottom here on YouTube. Also, check out the podcast. I'm Just Talking the podcast at Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Subscribe there. Today, all music was done by Uncle Buddha. So he did all the beats today, so we thank him. And hit us up at Twitter, hit us up at IG, hit us up everywhere that you can find us, and we enjoy your time. Deuces.